Hey guys, we're going to be in John chapter 11, verse 1. John chapter 11, verse 1. It says this. It says, now a certain man was sick named Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. We hear tons of stories about Mary, Martha, and the situation with Mary and Martha, and one working, one worshiping, and those kind of things like that. But they had a brother named Lazarus, and Lazarus had gotten sick. And here's the thing. What a lot of us think of is, man, we think of all these Bible stories and Jesus walking through and just touching people, healing them and healing everybody. But you got to realize there were tons and tons of situations where Jesus would walk into the situation and he would heal them, but it was after they had already had a condition for 12 years or many days or many months or years, whatever it may be, maybe even been born with a condition. And it's that many years later that God gets the glory for having healed them. Timing is essential in this story, because Lazarus is going to die, but he's not dying. He's not dying to stay dead. All right. So Jesus actually says something to the disciples like, hey, listen. Some people run up to him and say, hey, Lazarus is sick. We know you love Lazarus, and we know you come on in. And he tells the disciples, Jesus does, he says, look, he's not sick unto death. Now, what he meant was he's not sick to stay dead. All right, because Lazarus does die, but he's not sick to stay dead. He's sick and he's going to die, but it's for the glory of God, to show a miracle. Jesus is going to heal him. Okay, so timing is of the essence. That's what I want to talk about today is timing. And God knows exactly when and how and why and whether to heal and all those things like that. He wants you. He wants your submission. He wants you following him. And look, the way he plans things, his ways are above our ways. His ways are so much higher than our ways. We can't even hardly think or make sense of things sometimes. And it's because what he's doing is not always obvious to us. It is in hindsight, but it's very seldom, looking forward and saying, okay, this is what God's doing. I get it. I get it now. Sometimes we have that advantage, but most of the time we do not have that advantage. And so in looking at this, now a certain man was sick. His name was Lazarus. Lazarus does die, but then Jesus comes at a certain time. It's just 4 days later, all right? So 3 days was, Jewish custom. The soul could, come back into the body as such. But 4 days was, that was proof from God. And it was also just ordained from the very beginning that Lazarus would be raised on the fourth day. Even to the point where, people were saying, look, he's going to stink. He's been in that grave for 4 days. He's going to stink. And it's like, no, Jesus is about to bring him out. I bet he didn't stink a bit. I bet he smelled like the roses of God, of heaven. Amen. But they brought him up out of that thing and wrapped him, and Lazarus was alive. But it was 4 days later. Sometimes you don't believe God's showing up, and God shows up. Sometimes he shows up in different ways. Sometimes he doesn't show up in a miraculous healing. Sometimes he shows up in the midst of bringing them through some very tough times and some very tough suffering. Okay. And it's all about believing that God's timing and when he shows up is perfect, because he has a plan, and that plan is perfect. Love you guys. Bye-bye.